Happy February 17th. Thank you guys for staying tuned to the Black Disabled History Campaign. Now, by show of hands, how many of you guys are just as excited as I am to see the new Bob Marley biopic in theaters out now, called One Love? I know I am. How many of you guys knew that Bob Marley is a Black disabled history maker? Not that many people know, and that's okay. Most of us didn't know about Bob Marley's disabilities. He had a disability called melanoma, and yes, Black people can get skin cancer too. Acral lentiginous melanoma is the disease that Bob Marley had, and it is the most common skin cancer amongst people with dark skin, meaning Black people. But because of medical racism in dermatology, this cancer that mainly affects dark-skinned people isn't commonly present in medical textbooks. Illnesses that have the potential to kill Black people aren't seen as worthy to be studied or treated. As a cancer survivor myself, I know all too well the struggle to fight this monstrous disease called cancer. Now, let's talk about how Bob Marley made Black disabled history as a musician and activist. He was a global freedom fighter for all oppressed people, but history doesn't correctly talk about colonization or the colonization of Jamaica, and how Bob Marley, amongst other Jamaican activists, used their platform to challenge the effects of colonial racism in the Caribbean and in Jamaican politics. It is unfortunate that we leave out the part of Bob Marley's legacy where he was shot multiple times in a politically motivated assassination attempt 2 days before performing at the Smile Jamaica concert. This iconic photo shows an injured Bob Marley grasping the hands together of two political leaders from rival factions associated with a great deal of increasing violence in Jamaica as a call for peace. He performed for 90 minutes at that concert after being shot in the chest and arm. Now that's bravery. Jamaica may be a predominantly Black nation, but it didn't get its independence from Britain until 1962. And that same year, they elected their first Black president, Alexander Bustamante, who you can see from this image is mixed race. I'll say by the looks of it, he might benefit from passing privilege. During Bob Marley's career, Jamaica was rife with political conflict and violence, and his music attempted to bring a message of hope and pro-Blackness and Black liberation and independence, not only in his country, but across the globe. In 1980, Bob Marley performed in the newly formed African country of Zimbabwe, formerly Rhodesia, as the nation celebrated its long-fought independence from the British Empire. He sang for Africa to unite and was a Pan-Africanist, which influenced his conversion from Catholicism to Rastafarianism. His legacy of supporting cannabis is misrepresented as his only act of being a political revolutionary. This was demonstrated by Snapchat's misuse of Bob Marley's image as a lens in celebration of 420 in 2016, which is a day when cannabis culture is celebrated on April 20th each year. He was more than just someone who smoked and thought it should be legal, but given the racism behind mass incarceration and the drug classification of weed, his stance was political. Tragically, Bob Marley died at the young age of 36 due to complications from cancer that spread from his toe to his brain, lungs, and liver. He was gone too soon and too good for this world at the same time. What saddens me the most is that his death may have been preventable, as when he was initially diagnosed with cancer, he refused surgery to amputate his toe. Prosthetics exist, prosthetic toes exist, but he believed that it would negatively impact his ability to perform, and the surgery would go against his religious beliefs as a Rastafarian. Everyone's religion deserves respect. The disability lens in examining Bob Marley's death is viewing amputation of a toe as meaning you will no longer be able to do what you want, what you love, which included performing. But the disease ultimately took away his ability to perform and his life. He may have resisted the surgery because of his love of soccer, and he believed that a toe amputation would impede his ability to play the sport he loved the most, which is a tragedy because there are disabled soccer players. But There isn't enough awareness about what people with disabilities can do, but more of a focus on what they theoretically can't. And unfortunately, this leads to the early demise of many, many, many people. With that being said, we still must respect his views, his principles, and choices, because in his short life, he changed the world.